I find in any organization that the leader crystallizes the vision. And I don't mean that the leader creates the vision of the organization. The leader is the person with their finger on the pulse of the organization and also on the pulse of what is happening in the broader community and is able to articulate where the organization is going. And all people in the organization are looking to the leader for that clarity. They're looking for, how do I fit in? How do I contribute to what the organization is trying to do? And they can't answer that question if they don't have a clear idea of what's important to the organization, what it is that the organization is trying to achieve. So it is the vision, it is the articulation of the vision that is critically important. And we know that employees, the most important source of information to employees is their immediate supervisor. But that information, I think, is at the how, at the tactical level. How are we going to achieve what the goals of the organization are? But it is usually the leader that articulates the goals of the organization. Clarity of vision. It is understanding what we are trying to do as an organization and being able to articulate it in a way that gains buy-in, that gains passion. And of course, it's part of having the right vision, so ensuring that the direction of the organization is consistent with what our community needs, what our citizens are looking for, what our board of directors is looking for, taking all of those thoughts and crystallizing it into a vision for everyone. I think that's one of the most important. I think passion. I think the ability to create commitment so that the people in the organization not only understand intellectually what we're trying to do, but have it creates a drive that they want as individuals to contribute to what the organization is trying to achieve. And I think certainly a third part of it then is the ability to actually accomplish what it is that you've set out to do. And that means bringing the management of the organization all the way through along with your vision. A leader does very little, is capable of doing very little. If they have thousands of people in the organization, what they actually contribute themselves is minuscule. What they contribute is ensuring that all those thousands of people are working towards the common goal. That's organizational skills, it's management, it's rewards, it's the whole keeping the organization aligned.
Everything that we do has to be around how are we going to help citizens in terms of their interactions with government. And sometimes it's kind of stepping out of your own role, moving to the other side of the table, putting on your citizen's hat and saying, okay, how can we do the best job for our citizens? Also understanding that we have to do that within the constraints, the regulatory environment that we're working. So I think that that's really critical. Having a can-do attitude. A lot of what we do in terms of helping citizens is problem solving. Approaching problem solving with a citizen to try and figure out the best way to get there, I think is very, very important. And not just that can-do attitude, but also being conscientious, taking personal responsibility for finding a resolution to that problem. It's very easy sometimes, for example, in our Service BC centres across the province, there's a lot of autonomy in those individual centres in terms of how the manager runs their shop, if you will. The leader also has to take a corporate view. So there are decisions that are made that may be not in the best interest of the people in that particular centre, but from a corporate view, it is helping the organization in terms of moving forward, in terms of being sustainable, and the leader needs to be able to clearly articulate to their staff the rationale behind the decisions that are made. And they have to be able to be on board in terms of those corporate approaches to things. And again, I think that that's a real differentiator between someone who's a good manager and a great leader.
A service organization overall is the meat in the sandwich. We are always, as a service organization, representing corporate policy and how service is being delivered. So the entire organization is kind of that meat in the sandwich. As you get closer to the front line, the intensity of that, I think, is higher. So the first level manager probably feels that pressure more than anybody does, but staff who are dealing with the public are sort of the first touch point. the things which I think are really important are to be very clear on the expectations of different levels of management in an organization. So that first level of management is all about creating a work environment that's engaging, where the team is involved in problem solving, where there's creativity and innovation around how service is delivered. So you can deliver policy to the letter of the law, or you can deliver the spirit of the policy, but be creative around how it gets reflected in the service. And I've had experience in the financial services arena where you're very often saying no to customers, and there's a nice way to say no and a not so nice way to say no. So when you turn somebody down for a loan, as an example, in the public sector we have very similar situations where somebody can't get the product that they want to get because there's certain criteria that they've not met. Explaining how to get what they're looking for from government is the kind of problem solving that I think a first level manager needs to support. Now, as you move up the hierarchy in management, the elements of the role become more strategic, so it becomes more about anticipating directions, anticipating problems, preparing the organization for those new things that are coming along, understanding how change is going to impact the organization. And the first level above a frontline manager should be, once again, creating the environment where the manager is developing, feeling supported, where there's a collegial problem-solving kind of approach to the workplace, where you feel like this longer-term strategy and the day-to-day delivery is connected in a relevant way, so that everybody in the organization can understand how their part fits into the bigger picture. So, it's a choice people have to make whether they want to be in a service organization, because I've led a number of service organizations, and inside and outside government, it's always the same. You are the meat in the sandwich. If you don't like being there, then that's not the place for your career. There are other areas you should be focused on. But if you love satisfying what customers do, it's a great place to work. And the better you are at solving problems, the more satisfied I think you're going to be in that kind of a career.